What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another edition of the podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk about schedule, or scheduling really, and kids, how they have a schedule and then they just change it right out of left field. That's pretty much what I'm going through right now. The kids have changed the schedule on me. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. So for any of you new parents out there, or people who are thinking about having children in the next few months or expecting children, I want to tell you one thing just right out the gate to preface, well, not really to preface, but just to inform you and do my due diligence as a father second time around and let you guys know that whatever plans you may have, be prepared to have those plans changed. Your kids are going to set the tone for you. And that's not saying that that's a bad thing, but it's just saying that you need to prepare yourself for the shift in the paradigm from time to time. So what I mean by this is that my kids, I had them on a pretty good schedule, a bedtime routine, if you will. And all of that has changed over the past couple days. And I don't think that they're necessarily the ones that need to get used to it, because they're the ones setting it. But for sure, I'm the one that needs to get used to it. I am dog tired about every morning that I get up. I'm just feeling like I'm losing sleep, or I'm not getting any. And so to kind of fill you guys in on how it all started out, it went a little something like this. 5:30 rolls around, and my daughter, that's usually when she wants to start having her dinner. So I go ahead and I get that set up for her. And then my son, he's usually winding down, maybe watching television or looking on his iPad, or he's having dinner with us, or, just doing some kind of activity to keep him preoccupied while I get her ready and prepare her for bedtime. So after that, she's usually ready for bed. She would typically get a nighttime bottle. And my wife and I, we were kind of debating like, okay, when are we going to wean her off of this whole nighttime bottle routine? And she pretty much just did it herself. That was not the same for our son. He was on that milk for a long time. And that's not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but weaning him off that nighttime bottle was definitely not easy. So the fact that she's kind of done that on her own, I'm thankful for it. And so after her last meal of the day, after her dinner, that's usually when we as a family begin to wind down at that point. So I'll get her ready, get her in her PJs, brush her gums and what the few couple teeth that she has. And once she's in her PJs, I would in the past give her bottle, and then she would just go out pretty much for the rest of the night. And that was the routine. That was what we had all become accustomed to. However, recently things have just changed and the paradigm has shifted. As I stated before, it's not really a bad thing. I think the kids are getting along with it just fine. I think it's me who's the one that has to step it up as a father and get used to it. So their bedtimes are a lot later now. I want to say my daughter's dinner time is around 6 or 6:30. My son, he's still awake now. And to provide some context, it's about 8:30. I'm not sure when he's going to go to bed. To be honest with you, it's just he's on his own clock right now. And yeah, it's one of those things, just getting used to it. So she gets her, or I was going to give her bottle, but she's just not about it anymore. And she doesn't want to be in that crib. But one of the things that I found out, and one of the things that might begin to make this easier for me, is she likes to be rocked to sleep in the stroller. So for the past couple nights, That's what I've been doing. And she's out almost like a light. And fortunately, she is at the point where, and I don't even understand how this really works, but she's at the point where I can pick her up after she's fallen asleep and put her in her crib. I would think that any person would just wake up when you disturb them from their sleep like that. Maybe she's just extremely exhausted. Maybe it's just a thing that happens when you're a baby or a toddler. You sleep really easily and you can handle being picked up and laid back down, and it just doesn't affect anything too negatively. Our son, on the other hand, he's definitely been on one. He's got a lot of energy at night. And he is going to preschool. He's getting out there and he's running, he's playing. But it's just an unlimited source of energy that he has. And I'm not sure exactly how to expend that. I don't know if maybe extra trips to the park. I don't know we try winding down. I try having him lay in bed with me. We'll just lay there and I'm reading a book. So I don't have any electronic devices out, no iPad. My phone isn't out. I just sit in there quietly while I read a book. And if he wants me to read him a story, I'll read him a story. But I remind him, this is our quiet time. This is where we lay down and we wind down for the evening. And sometimes it works, but more often than not lately, it's not. So it's one of those areas that I'm trying to figure it out. I don't feel frustrated by it, but I definitely feel that, I miss the routine kind of feeling. The routine where our daughter would be dinner, a bottle, and crib, and she's out. Now it's been bumped up an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours sometimes. It's now dinner and the stroller, then bed. And our son, well, I think he's just really going to have to start learning how to be able to put himself to sleep. Because I present it to him that it's bedtime. Not because it's dark, not because it's just some fictitious thing that I'm making up just because, and not because it's some form of punishment. That's not what I want to have tagged on to his bedtimes, but I want him to know that this is a routine. This is what we do because you have school tomorrow. You need to be well rested. You need to go to bed early, and really try to get that to sink in. Try to get him to learn to wind down. Maybe I'll just try shutting off the television even sooner. Maybe I'll just go a week eliminating TV altogether and see what that does. Because if he's anything like me, my mind takes a long time to wind down at night. And he may very well be the same. He may need just quiet. No TV, no distractions. Once he learns to read, maybe a book. But until then, maybe me reading him a book more often than not. And maybe I just won't wait for him to suggest it anymore. And I'll just make it a part of the bedtime routine. Because it was when he was even smaller. We would do 3 books or pick 2 books and we would read those. But somewhere along the line, it kind of fell off from the regular routine. And we just turned to, let's just wind down and then let's just go to bed kind of thing. So maybe that's the solution. Going through this podcast right now, I guess I'm just kind of figuring it out as I spitfire what's been going on and what I've been figuring out. Again, this is Dad's podcast project. This is a place where I sort of just talk about my experiences as a father. And this is something new that I'm experiencing. A shift in the paradigm, a change in the routine. We had what I like to think was a good thing. And it's not that it's bad, that it's changing. Like all things in life, like the seasons, the things are going to change. And it's up to me as their father to adapt and to try to keep them on the straight and narrow. We still have to go to bed. We still have to wind down. We all have things to do in the morning. My son now has school. I still have work. Our daughter, she's not quite there yet with the list of responsibilities, but until then, I'll just keep chipping away at it and provide you guys with some feedback and some updates as they happen. But I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Have you guys experienced any paradigm shifts in when raising your children with their bedtime routines, or just any routines in general? What's your experience been like? Positive, negative? Let me know in the comments down below if you're listening to this on YouTube. If you're catching this on iTunes, you can always slide in the DMs on my Instagram. I think the link is in the description down below. And as always, you guys, till next time, see ya.